Hello everyone, this is Void Spirit. I'm here to bring you guys amazing fanfiction that you will surely enjoy. But before we start, please subscribe and like the video for more amazing content. Ch.18. Hajime was shameless as expected. Humans and demi-humans were walking together inside the Haltina Sea of Trees. Having seen that, the tiger-tailed demi-humans glared at Cam and his tribe as though they were traitors. They readied their double-edged sword and took a threatening stance. Tens of demi-humans surrounded them, filling the air with dense killing intent. Weir, Cam, drenched in cold sweat, looked for an excuse. But before he could finish his thought, the tiger-tailed demi-humans caught sight of Shia. "Isn't that white-haired rabbitman? Bastards, so you're the Hajime tribe. A disgrace to the entire demi-human race. For years, you've deceived us to raise a taboo existence, and now you have brought humans here. Treason. I won't hear any more excuses. Everyone will be executed on the spot. Everyone, Advan. Dopann. When the tiger-tailed demi-human commanded an attack, Hajime's arm flickered. A gunshot resonated as a flash grazed his cheek, devastating the trees behind him as the flash disappeared into the distance. The tiger-like demi-human that was grazed froze in place, unable to understand what had injured him. If his ears were located at the side of his head like a human's, it surely would have been blown off by that shot. The tiger-tailed demi-humans were stunned by the explosive sound and attack so fast that they are unable to react. I can fire that attack tens of times in succession. I also know the exact location of all your fighters. You've already entered my kill zone. Hajime. Hajime's voice covered the grounds as an extraordinary pressure descended. It was a result of Hajime's skill called pressure, which applied physical pressure on the enemy. What? No chant. The tiger-tailed demi-human stuttered unintentionally after being shot by an invisible attack that required no chant as Hajime threatened the safety of his comrades. As he had threatened, Hajime easily drew Schlagen and aimed into the forest. He paled, as he knew that his subordinates were hiding in that precise direction. A sense of unease entered his mind. I won't show any mercy to anyone who obstructs my way. Until the Hajime tribe has fulfilled their promise to me, their lives are under my protection. Don't even think that you can lay your hands on even one of them. Hajime. Aside from his pressure skill, Hajime began to emit his killing intent. The tiger-tailed demi-humans, who were known as thick-headed warmongers, were drenched in cold sweat. They started to panic while their leader desperately tried to keep his calm. This must be a joke. How could a human be this strong? He must be a monster. As the tiger-tailed demi-human leader tried to regain his composure, Hajime continued as he reloaded Donner and Schlagen. If you see me as a monster, then you are lucky that my brother is not the one you are facing. If you retreat now, I won't give chase. If you're willing to remove yourself from my path, I have no reason to eliminate you. Now choose. Will you pointlessly become my enemy and be annihilated, or will you quietly go home? Hajime. The commander of the tiger-tailed demi-humans was convinced that the moment he antagonized Hajime, that flash would be aimed at their heads instead. If that happened, there would be no chance for them to survive. The tiger-tailed demi-human was Fia Belgain's second guardsman's captain. His duty was to guard Fia Belgain, and it was his pride to protect his brethren from intruders and demonic beasts. Therefore, the decision between retreating from this confrontation or laying his and his subordinates' lives down weighed upon his shoulders. Before I decide, I want to know one thing. The tiger-tailed demi-human desperately remarked. Hajime urged him to speak. What is your purpose here? A straightforward question. However, depending on Hajime's answer, he would determine whether or not the consequences of opposing Hajime outweighed the consequences of their retreat. For the tiger-tailed demi-human, it was impossible for him to allow anyone who would try to hurt the citizens of Fia Belgain. He glared at Hajime with unyielding eyes. The depth of the Haltina Sea of Trees. I want to go beneath the great tree, Hajime. Underneath the great tree. You say? For what purpose? The tiger-tailed demi-human thought that his purpose was to enslave demi-humans, but when he heard his purpose was the sacred great tree, he was perplexed. The great tree, for humans, should have been just one of many places inside the Haltina Sea of Trees. Under the great tree might be where the true entrance to one of the 7 great dungeons resides. I am traveling with you to conquer the 7 great dungeons. That is why we employed the Hajime as our guide towards the great tree, Hajime. The real dungeon. Just what are you trying to say? The Haltina Sea of Trees is one of the 7 great dungeons. A dungeon where no one except demi-humans can advance without getting lost. Well, that would be strange. Hajime, why? The tiger-like demi-humans dubiously asked Hajime. For one of the great dungeons, the demonic beasts here are too weak. Hajime. Weak? That's right. For a great dungeon, demonic beasts to be so weak would be tantamount to blasphemy. At the very least, the demonic beasts should be on the level of the Orcus Great Dungeon, abyss. Also, Hajime. What is it? The Great Dungeons are a place of trial that the liberators left behind. A dungeon where only demi-humans can progress, you say? That can't be called a trial. That's why it's weird for the Haltina Sea of Trees to be a great dungeon, Hajime. The tiger-tailed demi-human was unable to hide his confusion after hearing Hajime's response. The Haltina Sea of Trees, demonic beasts were too weak. The Orcus Great Dungeon has an abyss. The liberators created the dungeons as trials. These were all unknown to him. If it was anyone else, he would have called nonsense on them. But Hajime had made these claims in this situation. Capable of completely overwhelming them, Hajime had no reason to lie in his eyes. Plus, his words were strangely convincing. If his true objective truly was the Great Tree, and not the enslavement of demi-humans or Fia Belgain, rather than meaninglessly throwing away his subordinate's life, it would be better to allow Hajime to visit the Great Tree. The tiger-tailed demi-human had decided. But he couldn't just allow Hajime to wander around freely. This matter was in his hands, so he proposed to Hajime. If you are not planning to harm my country and brethren, I can allow you to pass. There is no meaning in fighting you when your aim isn't to endanger my people after all. Having heard his words, a commotion broke out in the surrounding demi-humans. He had decided to overlook the human intruder. However, I need to consult the first guardsman's captain. I also must report to my superiors. The elders might know something about your story. Until I receive word to allow your safe passage, I must have you stay here. Drenched in cold sweat after his demands, the tiger-tailed demi-human stared at Hajime. Hajime was considering his next move. This was probably the limit for the tiger-tailed demi-human. Hajime had heard that the demi-humans would punish any intruder that dared step foot within their territory. Even now, they must want to punish Hajime and his party for their intrusion. However, the tiger-tailed demi-human knew that his subordinates' lives would be lost in all certainty if he engaged Hajime. To avoid that fate, he had made that proposal so that he would be able to monitor Hajime while allowing his superiors to make the decision. Hajime was a little impressed by his rational judgment under pressure. After considering his options of advancing after antagonizing the nation of Fia Belgain or wait for safe passage, Hajime chose the latter option. If the Great Tree wasn't the entrance to a great dungeon, Hajime would need to continue searching for it. If they needed to continue searching for the true entrance after arriving at the Great Tree, it would be more convenient to have permission from Fia Belgain to do so. The risk of Fia Belgain becoming hostile while he searched would always be present, but Hajime could accept such a risk. It would just become troublesome to search for the entrance while eliminating his pursuers. I accept. But you must make a report without changing even a single word, okay? Hajime. Of course. Zam. You heard it. Report his words to the elders. Yes, sir. Zam, under the tiger-tailed demi-human's command, one of the shadows disappeared. After confirming Zam's departure, Hajime returned Donner and Schlagen to their holsters while releasing pressure. The atmosphere lightened. The tiger-like demi-humans, who previously looked at Hajime with fear, started to relax. Some of them even entertained the thought of attacking now that Hajime was unarmed. Hajime noticed, and fearlessly laughed. Between your attack and mine, whose do you think will hit first? Hajime. Well, don't make any sudden movements. We can't help but be sensitive to your movements. I know, Hajime. Even though they were still surrounded, Cam and his tribe were finally able to sigh in relief. However, they could feel a severe and evil gaze directed at Hajime from behind them. Yu had tried to take care of Hajime after the tension relieved. Shia, seeing Yu acting intimate with Hajime, was unable to endure their pink atmosphere. Shia jumped towards Hajime crying, "Me too," to which Hajime could only reveal a forced smile. Inside enemy territory, they had suddenly begun to flirt. Hajime could feel the men's envious glares piercing him. After an hour, Yu was head-locking Shia while Shia gasped, "Give. I give," when footsteps were heard, gradually becoming clearer. Tension began to build again. Shia was crouching over in pain, pouting. From the fog, several new figures appeared. An elderly man that was standing in the middle of the crowd drew their attention. His beautifully flowing blonde hair complemented his blue eyes that shone with great wisdom. His body was thin, as though a slight breeze was all it took to make him fall over. Wrinkles lined his dignified appearance, but his age only accentuated his beauty. Above all, his ears were long and pointy. He was from the forest tribe, a so-called elf. Hajime was able to instantly guess that the man standing before him was an elder. "Fumu, are you that human? What is your name?" "Elder." "Hajime." "Nagumo Hajime. And you?" "Hajime." The surrounding demi-humans frowned upon hearing Hajime's informality with their elder, resentment brewing in their hearts. With one hand, the elder calmed them and introduced himself. "I am Ulfuric Hypeist, one of the elders of Fia Belgain. I have heard your request. However, before that, I must ask you a favor. Where did find out about the Liberators, Ulfuric?" From the abyss in the Orcus Great Dungeon. It was one of the Liberators' hideout, Oscar Orcus to be exact. Without any hesitation, Hajime answered Ulfuric, who was intrigued by the topic of the Liberators. Ulfuric was secretly astonished by Hajime's response. The reason was that the title of Liberator, an Oscar Orcus name, was only known by a handful of the elders. "Fumu, from the abyss, I haven't heard Oscar Orcus' name for a long time. Can you prove what you have said, Ulfuric?" Ulfuric asked Hajime that question because there was a possibility that the information was leaked by the upper echelons of Fia Belgain. Hajime revealed a difficult expression. If he proved that he knew of this information based upon his level of strength, that would be too unbelievable. Yu, tilting her head, gave Hajime a suggestion. "Hajime, what about a magic stone from Orcus' abode?" Yu. "Ah. That's right. If it's that, Hajime." He clasped his hand, and a magic stone with quality unobtainable on the surface emerged from the treasure warehouse. He then passed it to Ulfuric. This is a magic stone with such purity. Never before have I seen such an object." Even though Ulfuric hid his surprise, the demi-human next to him unintentionally remarked his surprise. "Now look at this. It was once a ring that Orcus used, Hajime." As he was talking, he showed him Orcus' ring. Seeing the carved symbol on the ring, Ulfuric's eyes flew wide open. He slowed his breath to control his flying emotions. "Indeed, you have certainly reached Oscar Orcus' hideout. Although I now have many more questions pertaining to your tale, I shall permit you safe passage within Fia Belgain's lands. The Haulia as well, Ulfuric." The surrounding demi-humans were surprised at Ulfuric's words, including the Haulia tribe. Led by the tiger-tailed demi-humans, the guardsmen began protesting. It was only natural, however, for the demi-humans to protest. A human had been invited into Fia Belgain after all. They must be treated as guests. They are qualified for such treatment. You have heard your elder's words, now perform your duties. Ulfuric. Ulfuric calmed the surroundings with a stern look. However, Hajime was the one who began to protest now. "Wait one moment. Why the hell have you decided on my agenda? My goal is that great tree. I have no interest in Fia Belgain. If you have no other questions, then I'll be making my way to the great tree now. Hajime." "That is impossible currently. Ulfuric. What did you say, Hajime?" Hajime believed that Ulfuric was going to interfere, however, he immediately continued. "The fog around that great tree is especially thick at this time. Even demi-humans would get lost on their way. However, the fog follows a cycle, becoming thinner during certain times. The next chance will be in 10 days. I had believed that all demi-humans would know of this cycle, Ulfuric." Ulfuric looked at Hajime as though he was an idiot. However, Hajime felt Ulfuric's gaze directed to someone behind him. Hajime finally understood what had been said and now glared at Cam. Speaking of Cam. "Ah. Cam." Hajime appeared gargantuan as he glared at Cam. "Cam. Do you have something to say, Hajime?" "Ah. Well. What can I say? Look, a lot has happened, right? I just forgot about it. I've only been there once when I was a child, so I was not aware of the cycle, Cam." "Cam, flustered, began searching for an excuse. Unable to take Hajime and Yu's intimidating gaze, he found a scapegoat. Shia. The others too. Why didn't you tell me? You know about the cycle, right? Cam. What? Father, you've misplaced your anger. Because father was so confident. I thought that time must have been near, you know, in other words, it's father's fault, Shia. That's right. Even we thought, huh? Isn't that weird? But Chief seemed so confident about it. We thought that we were wrong, Rabbitman 1. Chief, it was because you were so excited about such a random thing, Rabbitman 2. Cam, looking to drag his tribe down with him, watched as his tribe averted his gaze, casually pushing the responsibility onto him. Yo, you lot. Is this how a family acts? That's it. Joint responsibility. We were all responsible for this. Hajime Dono, please punish all of us for our mistake. Cam. Ah. How dirty. Father is dirty, because it's scary being punished alone, you dragged us into it, Shia. Chief. Please don't involve us. Rabbitman 2, idiot. You've seen how Hajime Dono is. I will not be punished alone. Cam. Yo you. How can you call yourself a chief? Rabbitman 3. The Rabbitman tribe was known to have the greatest affection for each other among demi-humans, but just where did that affection go? As expected of Shia's family, they were all shameless rabbits. Hajime, about to burst a blood vessel, muttered a word. You. Hajime, NN. You stepped forward with her right hand raised, expression hidden. Noticing Yu's menacing figure, the Howlia tribe's expression cramped. Wah. Please wait, Yu-san. If you want to punish someone, just give it to father. Shia. Ha ha ha. We'll always be together. Cam. The hell with together. Rabbitman 4. You Dono, please only hit the chief. Rabbitman 5. It's not my fault, the one at fault was the chief. Rabbitman 1. As chaos overtook the Howlia tribe, Yu only muttered. Storm Emperor. Howlia tribe. As those rabbit ears flew into the sky, their screams permeated throughout the Haltina sea of trees. Even though their brethren were attacked, Ulfuric and the surrounding demi-humans weren't mad at all. In fact, they looked at the sky with amusement. From their expressions, it seemed the Howlia tribe's shamelessness was widely known. Ch-19. Training. Hajime began the training. First he gave the Howlia 2 kodachi each, small katana. He also taught them the basic moves he knew. The Hala's specialty is stealth, so Hajime taught them group combat strategies focused on surprise attacks. Meanwhile Shia was being trained by Yu. On the second day of training something irritated Hajime. The Howlia tribe was doing well in training. They were even managing to defeat some magical beasts without too many injuries. But Gusagha Howlia killed a monster. Forgive this sinner. He clung to the dead monster as if it were a dead friend. Bushu, I'm sorry, but I need to do this. The Howlia kept apologizing for killing the monsters and even cried. Hajime already had veins pulsing on his forehead. At this moment a Howlia called out to Cam. Boss. Don't say that. We are all sinners. That's right. We have to wait for our judgment. The Howlia encouraged Cam by saying that everyone was a sinner. That's right. In the name of her death, magical beast that looks like a rat, we will advance through death. Cam spoke this and cheered up all the Howlia. Hajime couldn't take it anymore. What kind of nonsense is this? You guys are overreacting. Just kill quietly. By the way, don't call the magic beasts. That's disgusting. The Howlia were all saddened by Hajime's words and one even said, poor little things. A boy approached Hajime, but out of nowhere jumped back. What was that? Yes, I almost stepped on the flower sand. Thank goodness. If I hadn't noticed I would have crushed it. It would have been so sad. Hajime's face began to tremble. Flower sand. Yes. I really like flower sand. Hajime Nichin. I don't want to hurt them with our training. All the Howlia seemed to agree with the boy. Hajime's hair fell down and hid his expression. Then he asked in a whisper. Sometimes you guys moved strangely. Was it because of the flowers? They made some random jumps sometimes. Or dodged anything. No, of course not. Ha ha ha, you're right? Hajime real axed at Cam's words. It wasn't the flowers. It was so we wouldn't step on the bugs. Hajime's expression collapsed and he began to sway like a bewildered ghost. The Halia didn't understand. Hajime stopped swinging, he crushed the flower and Fufu. All the Halia were saddened by the flower, but were startled by Hajime's laughter afterwards. Ah, I finally understand. I was too soft. It's my fault, it was a mistake to get my hopes up, haha, and to think you guys were paying attention to the flowers and insects, haha, how inexperienced I was. Fufu fufu haha haha. The laughter was frightening. It was as if Hajime had snapped. Ha. Hajime dono? Cam called out to him and the response was *DOPAN. Cam flew off with the rubber shot. The other Halia were going to ask what happened, but *DOPAN *DOPAN. Everyone was greeted by rubber bullets. They were with tears in their eyes and Hajime declared. *CK. From now on you as *whole must kill the magical beasts as if you were going to die. Stop noticing the flowers and insects. If you don't I will kill you. If you understand, hunt like crazy now. They stood in shock and Hajime gave them another wave of shots to resolve. Shut up you little shit. Every time you say something useless I'll destroy more flowers. If you don't want that, go kill magical beasts now. After that in the sea of trees wailing cries could be heard. It was a training that caused the worst fighters to be changed both in body and soul. It was hell on earth. 10 days later Yu and Shia trained for a long time. They made a bet for Shia to become more determined. In today's training Shia and Yu fought and Shia finally managed to make a scratch on Yu's cheek. Shia had the ability to strengthen her own body with her mana. She had trained this ability with Yu over the past few days and got really strong. Yu-san will keep her word, right? Shia won the bet as she managed to injure Yu. So she wanted Yu to fulfill the bet. Yes, don't worry, and I don't even think you need my help. Now that you won't be a nuisance anymore he probably won't mind. Yu's promise was that she would help convince Hajime to take Shia on his trip. It wasn't as if Shia planned to take Hajime away from Yu. She liked Yu as much as Hajime. She wanted to be together with both of them. Obviously she liked Hajime in a different way, but she had no problem being with Hajime while he was with Yu. Yu knew this and also liked Shia. She wanted Hajime to have other people to cherish and she also knew that she would always be Hajime's number one. So she didn't mind Shia going with them. Hehe, that's nice, thanks Yu-san. Why don't we go find them? They must have finished their training by now. NN. Yu agreed and they headed to where Hajime and the other Halia were. When they arrived at the spot Hajime was standing with his arms crossed leaning on the tree. He sensed their presence and waved. Yo. You two. How did it go? It went very well Hajime-san. NN. Hajime-san, listen to me. I managed to beat Yu-san. It was a great victory. It was magnificent. Hajime gave a gentle smile to the excited Shia, and asked Yu. Is that true? It was just a scratch, but those were victory's conditions. She puffed out her chest with pride. Yu told Hajime about how strong Shia was and how fast she grew. She has great potential. Yu finished like this. She's really a monster. Well, it will be easier for her to protect herself like this. Hajime knew that Shia planned to separate from her family so as not to harm them, since she was a taboo child. Shia approached Hajime. Hajime-san, I have something to talk about. Please take me on your travels. No, an immediate answer. Look, I already told you that you can't depend on us to protect you. No. It's not that. It's just that. Shia looked embarrassed to speak, she was all red, but she continued. I want to be with Hajime-san. I love you, huh? Hajime was surprised by the sudden confession. He didn't even treat her well when they first met and he only started calling her by name recently. Before he always called her, miserable doe, or pitiful doe. However, before they started training Yu asked Hajime to treat Shia better. So he started calling her by name and tried not to be so cruel. Only that was no reason for her to fall in love with him. Is that serious? Are you sure you're not getting caught up in the moment? By moment meant him saving Shia and his family. It's not that. No matter what the situation, my feelings won't change. I was happy that you saved us, but that's not why. I also wonder why it's you, but even I don't know. You've only started to call me by name recently and you're still pretty cruel. Yet I love you, and I can't change that feeling. I'm not in love with you, yet you want to come? The future is not absolute, you know. Well, I guess that's okay then. From what you told me, you have a lot of potential. My brother probably won't mind. If Yu allows you, you can come with us. Hajime turned to Yu as if to ask. NN. That's fine with me. That's settled then. Welcome aboard, Shia. Yu more than anyone else watched Shia working hard to get strong. This was the only way she could go with them, so she really worked hard. And Yu, who spent 10 days with her, became very close to Shia. Thank you, Hajime-san. Shia was happy and put her hands on her cheeks as she laughed in happiness. After that, they started to discuss their future plans. While they were doing that, the Haulia came back from today's training. Shia looked at them, happy to see her family again. She was going to talk to them, but swallowed dryly because of the atmosphere around them. Cam, who saw Shia, showed a small smile and then turned to Hajime and spoke. Boss. About the magical beasts, did we get them in time? Boss. Dad, why does the air around you seem strange? The Haulia ignored Shia and showed high-level magic beasts in their hands to Hajime. I said one would be enough. Yes. Only while we were doing that, their companions appeared and showed murderous intent, and we politely accepted the challenge. Yes. They were reckless. We didn't let any escape. Even though they were so noisy. That was funny, Fufu. Well, that will serve as a warning. There were several disturbing sentences spoken with fearless smiles on their faces. One of them even licked the blood on his kodachi. Shia could only be stunned. Who? What happened, Hajime-san? Why are father and the others like this? Say. Calm down. It was the result of training. No matter how you look at it, they are different people. Stop looking away. There's not much difference. Have you gone blind? Before they didn't even want to see guns. And now I saw someone calling his knife Julia. That's scary. The Haulia tribe members were looking at them in confusion. But Shia's outburst was normal. The Haulia were more muscular and brutal. They even took Hajime as their leader, even though Hajime didn't want that. They kept calling him boss. Hajime dodged questions, so Shia changed his target. Dad. Everyone. Go back to normal, please. Cam, who was being swayed by Shia, just said. What are you saying, Shia? We just woke up to the truth of this world thanks to the boss. The truth? 90% of the problems can be solved with violence. The other Haulia nodded. Before Shia shouted. A small shadow came out of the mist. Was the child who liked flowers. Boss, I have something to report. What is it? I saw some bear men setting up an ambush near the big tree. They're not many, so I don't think it was the city that ordered them. Ah, I see. That's interesting. Well? Chief. Leave it to us. The Haulia want to prove their worth. Well. How about Cam? Ha, don't worry. We won't show something shameful. After that, Hajime made a big, inspiring speech that ended with, show them that the Haulia tribe has been reborn. Sir. Yes, sir. What do you wish? Kill. 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 If they are enemies, what will you do? Kill. 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 They went to attack the bear men while repeating those words. And Shia. I lost my family. Pal-kun to you? Shia tried to ask the boy who loved flowers. Anigo. Don't call me pal anymore. Now my name is Baltiford Certain Death. He left a chunny name and went to the battlefield. What the fuck is that? The bear men were perplexed. They had come here to kill the boy who would have used some trick to knock out their boss. Yet before they could, they were attacked by the Haulia. The Haulia launched a well-organized sneak attack that caused them to get lost and fight in disarray. Some even wondered if these really were the weak rabbit men. The Haulia kept saying things like, come on, or, scream like the pigs you were, and laughing during the fight. After a while, there were only a few bear men left and the Haulia surrounded them. Cam approached them and spoke, anything else to say? O strongest tribe? Kukuku. Regin, who was the leader of this group, approached them and spoke. Please let me take the blame. I am the one who made them come. Let them go and punish me as you wish. His subordinates started a commotion, but he didn't care. To this man wanting to sacrifice himself for his men, Cam. I refuse. Why? Why do you say so? For you or our enemies are to be killed. And it is also fun to mock your arrogance. Ha. These guys. The Haulia really seemed to revel in this. They were completely out of control. They were going to go on the attack, but ZUDOOOON someone appeared in front of the Haulia. It was Shia. Stop it right now. Shia positioned herself between the Halia and the bear man and shouted. Please. Get back to normal now. Shia, please get out of the way. Otherwise we can't kill those guys back there. No. I won't allow that. Shia? You're not going to join our enemies, are you? Depending on the answer. No. I don't care about them. I care about you. You're getting degenerate. Huh? Cam let out a confused voice at Shia's words. You guys shouldn't like that. Dad, your faces during the fight looked just like the Empire soldiers. KH. The whole tribe was shocked. They received a bucket of cold water. Just being compared to those who ESCFSVIZED their race, they realized they had gone too far. Shia, you seem to have calmed down. Good. At this moment Hajime arrived. He said he was going to let the bear homes and get away this time. That would serve as a favor that Fia Belgan owed him. He also apologized for overdoing the training, which made the Halia. Someone take care of the boss. The boss is decoupaging. We're lost. You bastard. Who are you and what have you done to the boss? Ha. You don't know. Do you know healing magic? Please use it on the boss. DOPAN. For now rubber bullets have been launched. Filled circle, filled circle, filled circle. All right, Cam and the others stand back. We don't know what might happen. Hajime and the others were currently standing in front of the tree. They found a rock in front of them that was probably the entrance. Okay. Good luck. The Halia, minus Shia, walked away and Hajime tried to activate the stone. The stone glowed and something appeared written on it. Hajime-san, what is written there? Ma. That really sucks. Huh. From the looks of it we need to complete more dungeons before coming in this one. It really sucks, but there's nothing to do. NN. It's really boring. Well, let's get going. We have to wait for my brother.